Oh my God. He can't be crying. Oh my God. I got to bring Farzetta in here. Man. I've never seen more drama around a football team. This is like as the weirdos turns. I mean, this is hilarious. What is wrong with that? You make $25 million. You've had almost 3,000 yards in 2 years. What are you moaning about?
You all right, bud? How you feeling?
Oh, no, no. I am having, a guy like me, I'm having a blast. Okay, you know
Good.
me. I mean, come on, Mark.
I missed the first part. I am sorry. What are people crying about? What's the problem?
So AJ called into the WIP show.
Actually, AJ Brown, the real AJ Brown.
Unless it's a translator, like a translator that they have at the UN that's running his Twitter page.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's him.
Okay. And Xander telling us yes. Yeah.
He was just okay. And some of the hosts took shots at me. And he's crying. I guess literally was crying about the poor treatment of the media on him.
What did we do now? What the hell? I don't understand what would bring anybody to tears, in all honesty.
That leads me to this. And then we'll get to him because I think it goes in line. What did you make of the Derek Gunn report?
The most recent one about how Nick Sirianni needs a baby.
Jalen can't handle the money, and Nick Sirianni needs Suge Knight as a bodyguard on the sidelines.
I thought I've known Derek Gunn for a long time. Derek Gunn is not someone that is going to find a pile of crap, make a baseball out of it, throw it against the wall, and just see if it sticks.
That's me.
Or throw it.
Right. He's not going to do that. Right.
The Derek Gunn's not going with something unless he's got it on good authority. And it's the second time we've heard about Jalen. Look, it doesn't mean that Jalen has been ruined by money. It means that I think the banquet tour, in a sense, from being an MVP candidate, Super Bowl quarterback, and all that stuff, I think, and the contract kind of got to him. And there's a new limelight. I know for a fact people in Jalen's own camp were telling the media, this is kind of this is a bit of an off year for him. He much rather, be working on his game, but, he's got to make sure that he goes out there and he cashes in on any opportunity that he has now because you never know what the future holds. It is football. That's not a knock on Jalen Hurts, but it is an acknowledgement that Jalen Hurts just had the most different year he's ever had in his entire life compared to any other year he's ever had. So good on him for that. I'm confident Jalen Hurts is going to come back, bounce back, and have one hell of a year in the upcoming season. I think the new coaching staff, Kellen Moore, I think the weapons that are here in the offense, A.J. Brown be one of them, is great. But as far as Nick Sirianni needing a babysitter of sorts or a on-field therapist to be next to him to handle his emotions, in terms of maybe a communication, liaison, maybe that's what Dom DeSandro is. But you definitely saw instances on the sideline throughout the games this year, especially when Dom is out, going back and forth maybe a little bit more often than what we had seen with Nick Sirianni. Before that, when A.J. Brown was having his own spat, which a lot of people, myself included, assumed was about not getting targeted, I assume now that after A.J. Brown finally addressed the media, it wasn't just about A.J. Brown getting targeted. It was about targets in general for everyone on the offense. You saw Nick Sirianni go over there and just squash it and nip it in the bud as fast as possible. You didn't see too much of that in the second half of the season. So if anyone's moved to tears or emotional on the team for the media supposedly throwing things against the wall, dude, this team has their own problems than to worry about the media. And if it's an us against the world mentality, like it should be,
correct,
in every single locker room, then who gives a damn what anybody else is putting it out there? You have the power as a player to control the narrative that matters, not something that somebody is throwing against the wall because, oh, I know something that this Philadelphia Eagles team, it's so personal, it can tear any group of people. Who gives a damn? If you're a player, you laugh at that stuff. And if someone wants to bring it into the locker room, you destroy it from the moment it rears its ugly head. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. I am pro A.J. Brown. I'm pro Jalen Hurts. But for me, I can't imagine for the life of me what could cause such an emotional outcry from a player like A.J. Brown, who I absolutely respect.
Okay. I'm going to make a comment to you here about your boy Sirianni. You know, this is Italian hate on hate.
Why is he my boy?
Something we like here.
Why is he my boy? Yeah, because we can break balls and we know it's all love.
We're almost paisans. I get it. I mean,
yes,
this is kind of like, it's a hate on a paisano, and I don't really like to go there. However, I'm going to make a statement to you here.
Yeah.
If that guy starts the season as your 2024 Philadelphia Eagles head football coach, it'll be the biggest disaster that they have had going into a regular season of any coach they've had since Rich Kotite. That will be a nightmare if that guy goes into that season. And I'll say this to you, you will not have a 500 record if that guy's your head football coach going into 24. Is that?
I am more confident than that because his title is head coach, but is he a head coach? And actually, I wanted to bring this up. This is a
point.
Right. No, I agree. Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I saw you said something, I think it was 2 days ago, maybe it was yesterday, about how Nick Sirianni is not qualified to be an NFL head coach. Okay, I just want to make sure you said that, right?
You damn right I did.
Okay. You are correct when applying that logic to 31 other NFL teams. What is the number one characteristic the Eagles want to see on your resume if you want to be a head coach on their football team post Chip Kelly? What's the prerequisite? Need not apply unless you're going to do what?
Own a pair of knee pads.
I'm not sure it was written like that in the contract, but yeah, you're exactly right. You're going to play ball with Howie Roseman. Yeah, I understand. No, I know. That would be great if it was like, do you have your knee pad? Have you gone to Home Depot? All right, anyway. Yes, you have to play ball with Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. That's the number one thing. So if you're Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, he absolutely checks that box 1 billion%. And people really came at me one of the last times I was on your show because I was talking about play calling. That was just one example, okay? The fact that he's not a play caller doesn't matter anymore. I don't care about that anymore. That's plenty of coaches, not play callers. That's fine. But if you're not going to do that, then you better be great at some other things. And if you're great at those other things, then you don't have a end of the year collapse like this Eagles team had. You don't have that. You have them mentally prepared. If that's your job as the head coach, if that's what you're really going to stress, then you have them mentally prepared, not mentally prepared. Oh, well, then you're going to have a great game plan that'll put players in the right position to make plays for your offensive and then newly appointed defensive play caller. Did he do that, Sills? No, he did not do that. So was there emotional intelligence? Well, it turns out Dom DeSandro had to teach him emotional intelligence throughout the season, and it really wasn't paying off when Dom DeSandro was not there on the sideline. So outside of play calling, I'll ask the question again. What is it you do here? Oh, I know what you do. You stay in your lane. Because for the Philadelphia Eagles, that is the number one prerequisite on any resume where someone's trying to apply to be the head coach. And here's what's and I give him credit for this.
Stay in his lane.
Oh, no, I think, oh, man, after this offseason, he has been wedged, shoehorned with walls put up on both sides. The offense is in charge of the offense with Kellen Moore. Defense is in charge of the defense with Vic Fangio. That shows
a sign of weakness to the players in the locker room. If you are in that locker room and you know something is not conducive to winning and you say nothing, the players are going to go like this. He's got no voice in the room. How are people saying, well, he has a pulse of the locker room and roster? He never has. Never has. I think this guy is going to get in the way of something that could be fixed.
Look, I just for lack of a better term, when I saw
I don't know what he does, like you said. I mean,
right.
If there okay, how about this? Let's do this. Let's go here. What's the one redeeming quality in 3 years Nick Sirianni has shown you that you feel comfortable going into 24 going, you know, I'm kind of hard on him. And don't give me the 667 win percentage because he's being gauged, Mark, only on wins, not player development, not quarterback development, not roster, not being able to motivate your players. Winning, losing, dude, head foot. When I look at Kyle Shanahan, I look at Kyle Shanahan. Now, look, he's bombed in the Super Bowl. I get it. Hanging around the rim, though. They're hanging around the rim, like Jerry Jones says. And what he's doing is he developed Debo. Christian McCaffrey's better in San Francisco than he's been in Carolina. You develop two quarterbacks that you kind of question on Garoppolo and Purdy. Look at McVay, Puka Nacua. Who's the one guy Nick has had an impact on?
I mean, if you're really trying to get down to it, you don't see anybody. I mean, you see young guys like Devontae Smith has done well, but then Devontae Smith is lining up as a blocker on a bubble screen for Dallas Goedert. What? Like, that's not how you do that. That's not how you do that. I will say this, though, as far as Nick Sirianni goes. At the time, and I've gone to this so many times because it was so telling, Hassan Reddick saying at his locker, it's what the higher-ups wanted to do when it came to the defensive coordinator being changed when it came to the play caller, defensive play caller. That move right there, before any what is it you say you do here or what is your role to Nick Sirianni, the Eagles neutered their head coach. Because I don't believe Nick Sirianni came up with the idea like, hey, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to change play callers with 4 games left in the season. I don't think so. I think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, who I think has become Jeffrey Lurie's kind of henchman in all this, went, all right, we got to make a change. We got to do something. Nick, what do you think? He tells him, and they go, how about we just change defensive coordinator? We change play caller of the defense. And at that point, Nick just has to get out of the way. And I think that's when the rest of the team went, what the hell is this guy doing? If he has no pull, no sway, why am I even listening to this guy? It's like you go in any workplace in the country can't work like that, where people don't respect the authority figure who's in the room, and that's what the head coach is supposed to be. If you're the head coach and that happens, you're not a head coach, Sills. You're a pushover. And that's what Nick Sirianni looks like right now. However, the thing that I think trumps all of it is the idea that these guys still want to win. The players in the locker room still want to win. Players in the locker room still want to get their incentives in their contract.
That's why they got 11 wins.
That's why they got 11 wins. And that's why their offense is going to be better under Kellen Moore. They're going to make sure they check off boxes in this offense that you didn't see checked a year ago. And I think their defense is going to be better, assuming, especially with the huge cap number that just went up, assuming they're going to be adding a significant amount of talent to this lineup as well. But yes, Nick Sirianni is basically the one guy that can do this Eagles job as a quote-unquote head coach without it being somebody else. But is it a recipe for success long-term? Absolutely not. Because let's say this team does well. Let's see. So, okay, Nick Sirianni is the head coach. You win a Super Bowl. You go. Let's just live with me in this fantasy world for 1 second. You do well. Let's just say you have a good year. Are you keeping Nick Sirianni, letting Kellen Moore take a head coaching job somewhere else?
No. Now that I know after what I saw with Steichen, no. And you knew
Pretty
it.
Scary. Yeah.
And hey, I get that. That's a great point, Mark, because now, like you let Frank walk out. No, I'm not. Look, I think the firing of Doug, this is the reason that Sirianni's back is because they couldn't justify the firing of Doug Peterson if they fired Nick with a 67 win percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some Stunad in here, and because you're white, you'll never get that. You'll have to look that up on a translator. Not you, but you know exactly what that is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because again, this guy's a stonad because he goes, wait, a coach is not supposed to be gauged on wins. So you fired a Super Bowl winning coach, didn't give him a chance to dig out of the gutter that you put him in. You fixed the game at the end of the year, or you allegedly did. Got to go there now because so many eyeballs are on me. That you sabotaged the whole thing, and then Doug goes somewhere else. And you're trying to tell me you think Nick has a better resume than what Doug does. You can't justify it, Mark. That's why he's still in the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows his role. He stays in his lane. The number one thing on that job application list is, will you be subservient to Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman? Will you not push and fight for things that we don't want to push and fight for if we're Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie? If the answers to those questions are yes, then saddle up, son. Let's party, because that's exactly what they're doing in this upcoming season, and they're hoping Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio are the Mr. Fix-It when it comes to the problems of this team, because it ain't going to be Nick Sirianni.
It's down like Pulp Fiction here a little. I'm going to get to that in a minute here when it comes to the fixer here, those two fixers. But I will ask you this. Do you think A.J. Brown by September asks for a trade? Yes or no?
No, I don't.
Wow, there was a pause. I felt the pause in there.
Well, because there's a lot of bull. I think here's what really sucks. The Eagles season, with the way it ended, even if you're the biggest rah-rah, Paulie pom-poms Eagles fan, it left you with a huge heaping pile of things to be desired, okay? It left you with a lot to be desired. So A.J. Brown and everything's going to get blown out of proportion with him. And I agree with what he said in his locker on his 13-minute press junket, if you will, when he finally addressed the media, where he talked for 13 minutes about, well, this is why I didn't talk, you know? And by the way, I went back and I actually watched it with all the drama that's going on.
Because it was on my birthday, and I was like, wow, okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Big Sileo, there you go.
I remember it.
Agori, amigo.
Hey.
Anyway, so we looked that up too, people.
Yeah,
anyway,
you guys will have to look that up.
So that's not in Goodfellas, by the way. You have to look that up. That's authentic Italian.
That's in Farzetta, fellas. Okay,
exactly. But I went back and I watched. The only person A.J. Brown actually threw under the bus in his little press junket, you know who it was?
Let me guess, coaches.
It wasn't coaches. He said Nick Sirianni stuck up for the Nick Sirianni's good dude. I ride with Nick, that whole thing. The only person he threw under the bus was Devontae Smith, because he talked about Smitty calling for more targets and not him. He's like, if anybody's calling for more targets and is that kind of loudmouth, it's Smitty, but he gets away with it somehow. I think it's because he's got $1 million smile, and people on my chat said it's because he's got the Southern accent, so he comes off more charming. I don't know, but that's what it was.
Why would you even care when you got a $25 million paycheck and a direct deposit every Tuesday?
Yeah.
You're moaning? What an absolute, let's be politically correct, soft ass. There. Hey, I edited myself.
Good for you. Look at you growing. No.
God. After 4 fires, you learn, Mark. You learn, believe me.
But the thing is like this. Okay, $25 million. Here's what I've noticed in my own life, other people's lives. The minute people make money, they want more money. The minute they make that more money, guess what they want? More of that green. Money. They still want more money. So it's like, at what point, how much money do you get paid where you stop being a human being, stop having human emotions, even if the emotion is greed or jealousy or just more greed on top of it all? You don't stop. It won't stop. That's the nature of the business. That's a lot of people's human makeup. Hey, some people, they can make that $1 million and they can go, all right, I'm good. I can be pretty good the rest of my life. I can live my life and have some fun. A.J. Brown wants more. I don't fault him for that. You should always want more, especially if you're an athlete. You got to cash in when you can. But the reason I pause to get back to the question of A.J. Brown and whether or not he'll be here is because there has been so much BS. And you know what? It's a line that doesn't get talked about enough, but I really learned something. When we were all, sheltering in place from pandemic and all that stuff, and ESPN did us I think it was ESPN or Netflix. Was it Netflix? It was ESPN who put together The Last Dance. They released The Last Dance.
ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN. The one thing I took from that, there's a lot, but one thing that really stays with me, and it's applicable to all sports. Dennis Rodman said he would play basketball for free. They pay me the money to put up with the BS.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and now I'm applying it to A.J. Brown. I apply it to A.J. Brown with all the stuff hitting the fan now between the media and him throughout the season up until now. Yeah, you would play the game for free. You would. You've done it enough in your life, but you got to put up with everything that surrounds it. Oh, no, man, you're going to make that money if you got to put up with people like myself, talking heads, casting doubt or whatever the case may be. But on top of that, if that's your locker room and Jalen Hurts even defers to you to be more of a leader to that group of men, well, then you got to step up and you got to make sure that you're controlling what should be viewed as not only the real message to that locker room, but you're also conveying what, quite frankly, should be the only message in that locker room. So if I'm A.J. Brown, that's the way I take it. Look, I didn't hear what he had to say, so I can't comment on it, what he said most recently. But everything else, if you're talking about not being here, demanding a trade, I could see why he wanted a fresh start somewhere else. But he also pointed at himself as always vilified because it's so easy to paint a wide receiver that likes to talk as a diva, as a bad seed, as a locker room poison. I could see why he would want the fresh start somewhere else. But ultimately, I think for him, this offense, this quarterback, this offensive line, I think he looks around and sees the pieces that are here, and you can win here. You might not be able to win long-term as far as a Super Bowl goes with the defense as it is right now. Look, there's a lot of holes to fill on this team. But if you're A.J. Brown, I think you realize, wow, there's a pretty good wide receiver on that side of the football. I'm going to be open a lot. He's going to be open a lot. We got a pretty good tight end when he's healthy, and I think he still has faith. I think he absolutely still has faith in Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. And I think if you're an offensive player, you're excited to see what Kellen Moore does with 5 years of experience under his belt already with this offense.
Very seldom do you get a guy who can give you a Pulp Fiction reference and also Gordon Gekko and a Wall Street reference all in the same thing here. I'll say this to you about paying these diva wide receivers. Can you name me in the last 5 years a $25 million wide receiver that's won a Super Bowl? 6 years even. Tyreek Hill wasn't making that money the first Super Bowl.
What was Cooper Kupp making when they won?
He didn't sign that contract.
He didn't sign that contract. Yeah. It's been a minute. Look, the thing you go back to.
Are you winning? Is Devontae Smith winning a Super Bowl in Vegas?
Oh.
Okay, I got another one for you. Do you think that if Justin Jefferson signs that $28 million deal in Minnesota, they're winning the Super Bowl up there?
No.
You think Tyreek Hill's winning a Super Bowl in Miami?
No.
Okay.
So you're saying it's a kiss of death? Because I got
what's the point of paying that position when you're not going anywhere with it?
When did Tom Brady have a great season but not win the Super Bowl?
With Moss, but get this, Moss wasn't making the money then.
He wasn't making that money, but damn, man, that was the most weapon.
They traded him.
Yeah. How about that?
So the point again is, I mean, Mark, this is why I threw this out there about AJ maybe potentially taking some offers for the guy. Send him someplace. Send him to send him for Asante Samuel or Derwin James with the Chargers. Do something there, draft pick, move him. If you believe you have the guy in Hurts at $50 million, what's the point of having a $25 million? Do you realize? Here, let's go here. Do you think if he concludes his contract, all the numbers he's put up, and you don't win anything, and you gave him $100 million, was that investment worth it?
If you don't win anything, no, absolutely not.
Well, are we trending there?
Yeah. Right now, yes, this Philadelphia Eagles team, unfortunately, is trending in that direction, but the trend has started with this bad year.
I think they have a horseshit defense.
Yeah, 1,000% agree. That's why I look at Kellen Moore, and it's like, of course, why wouldn't you want this job? And that's also a reason the Eagles went into this season, I feel, pretty damn arrogant. Oh, yeah, sure, Brian Johnson's never called plays. With this offense, you'll be fine. A blind bat could call plays for this offense and be one of the best in the NFL. That didn't really work out down the stretch, did it, unfortunately? No, but defensively speaking, oh, yeah, Vic Fangio's got his work cut out for him.
I got to ask you before we get into those coordinators, and I want to go here with you on it. There is a decision to be made by May 2nd, and that is the Devontae Smith decision. Are you going to pick his 5th-year option up, which has $15 million hit the cap, or are you going to extend him and have 2 players? Now, he'll be on that rookie deal through the extension, kind of like how it played out with Jalen. Jalen's first year, he signed it a year ago. He was still under that deal, but he got the signing bonus. That would pretty much be the same way with Devontae. How do you think Howie handles that with him? Does he go extension? Because look, if you pick up the 5th-year option, if you don't pick up the option, or you don't do anything with it and you let it play out, 24 is his final season, and he's a free agent at the end of the year. So what do they do, in your opinion?
Howie does Howie things. Howie jumps the gun on signing him now and not waiting, and he backloads the contract, and then that contract will probably get restructured. I think Howie is going to take a very similar approach that we have seen with quarterbacks. And yeah, pretty much every position where you have someone you really want to stick around. Howie's not going to let him go into free agency. That ain't happening. He is also not going to go into the following year, the end of his contract here this coming year, without a deal. I think they're going to dangle that carrot in front of him. And this goes back to Joe Banner. And it's a brilliant move. It's why Joe is such a good executive. Here's the carrot. We're going to dangle it in front of your face. Right. And you sign that now. And then the Eagles had problems with this going back to, Reggie Brown. They went Sheldon Brown. Coincidentally, they're both Brown. But they dangle that carrot in front of you, and you say, you want to turn down that free agency now, but we'll give you the money long term, and you're taken care of. You know you're taken care of on your first contract. Or do you want to bet on yourself and test free agency? And maybe even secure an even bigger and better contract after the upcoming season. I think with maybe blood in the water a little bit with A.J. Brown, maybe the idea of the well being poisoned a little bit as well with A.J. Brown, the potential of him going elsewhere, Devontae Smith becoming the absolute surefire number one wide receiver in this offense might be intriguing to Devontae Smith. So maybe he does bet on himself. I doubt it. But I think as of this coming season, I think the Eagles are going to sign him to not a wild long-term deal, but a long-term deal, keeping him here in Philadelphia at a good number.
Okay, let's get to Hassan Reddick. And go with me here and tell me if you disagree or agree, because I had Seth Joyner on yesterday with me.
I saw.
I think he's a liability on that defense. Can't cover a tight end to save his life. George Kittle put him in circles. He's not the greatest tackler. And if he's not getting home, Mark, he's a liability. He's not a complete player. And let's not forget something here about this guy. He has been cut twice for a reason. And it's because he's hard to fit into schemes. And I'm wondering if Fangio was part of that said, why don't you see what his value was on the open market? Because nobody lets a pass rusher, counting the playoffs, who's had 30 sacks in 2 years, just go, hey, by the way, Mark, I think you're a tremendous host. You know, you're bringing in 10 shares and you're bringing in $2 million a month. Why don't you go find out what your market value is and get back to me? Nobody does that, Mark. Unless, you're not going to put Miles. Hey, Miles, I think you're a hell of an end. Why don't you go out there in the open market and find out? Mark, he'll come back. Well, guy gave me once, give me 30 a year. Whoa, you're not doing that. Yeah. So to me, I look at him and I go, you've got so many holes on that defense. Now, in a Ravens defensive scheme, is he worth 18 million, 19? Probably. But in a team like that, with numerous holes, depth issues, what's the point of paying 15 million when you were last in pass coverage, last in first downs on first down, last on first down, or last on third down plays? You were atrocious at the run game late in the year when they ran out of gas. What's the point of paying a guy 20 million if the only thing he does is get home and you're not getting home?
Mm-hmm. The good news here is I don't think they are going to pay him 20 million.
You think they let him walk? Or do you think he stays?
They're restructuring that deal. I think he stays. Like I understand the whole idea of doesn't fit Fangio and all that stuff. The Eagles got him knowing they were going to run a Fangio-esque scheme. So he's run that since he's been here in Philadelphia. Now, look, I am a huge fan of any coach or coordinator that says, oh, these are the pieces I have. How do I best make them fit together? Whenever I hear of a talented player not going somewhere because, oh, he doesn't fit the scheme, you have an opportunity to get that guy to do that thing, then you get that guy to do that thing. And watching him do what he's done here in Philadelphia over the last 3 years, he's been a very special player. And in the non-blitz happy Fangio defensive scheme that the Eagles have run for 3 years, he's also been successful. And he was extremely successful this year once he got that cast off his hand and he was able to use both hands. He started getting at the quarterback again at an alarming rate. Then, of course, as we all know, tailed off at the end of the year.
He's not a good player. I'm just saying, does he?
Right. But what I'm saying is he has fit the scheme already here in Philadelphia. Now, Fangio coming here, you mean to tell me you're going to have him at his disposal? And let's put it at your disposal, and let's put it in another light. in the Fangio scheme where you're not really blitzing, which we all know, and you're running quarters and all that stuff. The other thing is, if you're only blitzing one extra guy, let's say, I would like that one extra guy to be Hassan Reddick. And I think Hassan Reddick being here should be often enough used to be able to get into the backfield. And maybe, how about this? Force a mistake every once in a while instead of waiting for the other team to make a mistake. Because that's the biggest problem I had under the Fangio style or defense, under Gannon, under Desai, that, and then towards the end of the season, a lack of discipline and lane discipline as well. That, to me, was the biggest, that's what stuck in my craw the most about the way the season ended, was watching this defense absolutely fall apart. But if you're Vic Fangio and you have the opportunity to have Hassan Reddick be one of your maybe 5 rushers, you have him be one of your 5 rushers. I would love to see that here on a decreased number. And I think that's why the Eagles very confidently said, go ahead, look around, see what's out there. Oh, not much? Here's the restructured deal. Take it or leave it.
I would say this to you about him. All you got to do is put a tight end over on him. You going to drop him? Or are you going to rush him? Tight ends got free release. That became a problem towards the end of the season.
Sure, yeah. Because
you were getting no production out of Graham. And you had one guy that was kind of running out of gas and sweat. And what did they do in the back end of that season? They put a tight end over there on him. And he had to drop in coverage to cover it, because no one else was there, and they were hoping Graham would got home, and he had a horrible – look, I don't want to say that about the guy, but I will say this. His days are done, okay? And to me, that's what the defense – and Mark, I tell you, one of the things that I have the advantage on is when you talk about a guy, because like Brandon Graham, I mean no disrespect, but I'm talking like players get talked to by organizations. Hey, your time is up here, man. That's how they talk to you. They don't talk to you going, now, Brandon's probably different because he spent so many years and they love him. But at the end of the day, they kick your ass out of there as fast as they can get you in there. So it's a bloodthirst way of doing business when you're talking NFL. So when people hear me say, your time is up, dude, we need the roster spot. I'm not giving you a ceremonial parade victory tour on the way out. I'm not doing that. That's poor management.
Well, you hit it right there. Look, we all love Brandon Graham. He's awesome. But if a player is telling you he wants one more year for a farewell tour,
come on, man.
That tells you it's over. It's not Jason Kelce really struggling with this decision of retirement or not, still playing at an extremely high level, him wondering whether or not he's going to be mentally ready to go for another season, him weighing all the options, meeting with everybody. This is a guy saying, oh, no, this is going to be it, but it'll be my farewell tour. Okay, so at most league minimum, $1 more than the league minimum, so we can say we didn't pay the league minimum? We paid you more than the league minimum?
I'd rather pay him, Mark. I want the roster spot.
Oh, you'd rather pay him to leave?
Roster spot. The money's not the issue. I need better players.
Yeah, right.
That's when you know your time is up. It's not a money. When it becomes – here, let me get to some money guys now. And let's get to Jason Kelce here. I hear people saying some crazy shit about the all-pro center. To me, you're going to bring a new coordinator in. Your quarterback struggled in blitzing. You're going to take the best player you have. You're going to end the tush push, your most successful play, and you're going to take him out because he makes $10 million. Well, let me put it to you this way. The only reason he's making $10 million is because he's not 27. You're lucky he's 37. Because if he was younger, he's going to make $15 to $20 million. That guy getting out on third levels, the way he plays, $10 million for one of the best 5-0 linemen in the NFL still today, I'm begging him to come back with a new coordinator. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. The door is wide open. I was just on with our friend Bill Colarulo yesterday, and he is banging the drum a little bit there for love Jason Kelce, but it's time to move on, that kind of thing. I'm like, hell no. If you're giving me one of the best centers in football, the door's open.
The best center.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The best center in football.
I want to show you this too. Creed Humphrey, Kansas City, AFC Pro Bowler. The kid from Iowa in Baltimore, backup All-Pro. He's there too in Baltimore. Ragnow, Lions, center, second best of Kelsey. You following me here?
Yeah, they're pretty damn good.
If you don't have a great center, dog, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's why the door's wide open, and that's why I would love for him to come back. And by the way, it's funny. I just listened to Jason Kelsey Fly on the Wall podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade had him on, and they're not exactly two sports guys. It was great. I only listened to some of it, but I'll get to the rest of it. But they were asking him quite just like you. Oh my God, Sills, you would laugh your ass off. It's just like you seem really fast for like a lineman, and it's just like Jesus. Like, and I get it. It's not their audience; they're a comedy show, you know. But Jason Kelsey was eating it up because he loves both those guys, and he's like, yeah, he gave a lot of credit to Stoutland because he's like, look, I've been known for being the undersized center. I have fortunately an offensive line coach who helps with the designing plays to get me to the next level. So I'm taking on a linebacker or a safety as opposed to a 400-pound nose tackle on more plays than not. But yeah, just the fact that at this age, like I always talk about guys like watching Allen Iverson. This might be one of the few times you hear these guys compared in terms of playing their sport. But you can talk about undersized guys, certainly. But once that speed and quickness was gone for Allen Iverson and watching him play his whole career, I was like, man, when that first step is gone, it's going to be a screeching halt to his career.
As the crossover was gone, it was done.
It was done. So watching Jason Kelsey now at this age, this many years logged, that many consecutive games, that many games played, playoff games played, the fact that he can still get to that second and third level better than almost any center in the NFL is amazing. And the way he does it with efficiency and power, not just the agility and speed of getting off the line, but like not a stride, not a movement is wasted. It is like I have watched those quick guys, and it's just gone in a flash once they hit 30. To see what he's doing now in football, the man is a I don't know. He's not immortal.
Can I tell you what sold me on why I want him back? When I saw a man jump out of a suite with a beer in his hand and his shirt off with no spillage, gun it, and then leap back in like he was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yep.
That to me showed some of the greatest athleticism I've seen since Usain Bolt. And in my opinion, I want his ass back because I was one of the greatest. The spillage of spillage.
The focus to not spill a drop, Sills. The focus.
You're thinking about not spilling it, gunning it, and then you leap back in. And you know how stadiums are. They're tearing up. Now, man, I tell you what, Mark. He's a fabulous football player. What about Fletcher? See, to me, Fletcher. Fletcher. Hey, and here's the problem I have with Fletcher. My problem is this. Well, why'd you draft two guys? You've got a third-round pick in Milton Williams. You've got the 9th pick in Jalen Carter. You got the 13th pick in Jordan Davis. Dude, eventually, you got to get off the teat here.
Fletcher Cox is done.
You got to move on here a little bit, and it's a $10 million number.
He's done. Fletcher Cox, I think, is done. I don't think
I think he gets $10 million somewhere else, maybe Cleveland.
I think Fletcher Cox is going to ring shop.
Okay, so you think he's more like Sue 2 years ago, where he gets like 3 or 4, something like that.
Hold on a second. Because he likes his home here. I know his ladies from here. He wants to go hunting. I think down in Texas, wherever he goes.
You think he cuts it in half?
I think he goes. Wait a minute.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think he could, but I think what he ends up doing is, hold on a second, I could kind of take it easy a little bit, sure, stay in shape, and then just kind of hook on with the team and do a little ring shopping towards the end of the year. Yeah, I think I'll do that. But that's if he plays it all. Giants? That's if he plays it all. Sorry.
Steelers, Jets, Giants stays in the area?
Stays in the area. Definitely stays in the area. And that's to say if he plays. I think he's done with the Eagles. And if he plays again anywhere, I think it's a ring shopping type
Washington.
Well, the thing is with Washington, what do they got? 87 million under the cap?
87. And now, no, that was with the 242-1 projection.
Okay.
They got to have over $100 million now.
Oh, pots and pans.
Hey, oh, by the way, I think Washington, that's my favorite to win the East next year.
Really?
I think they're going to get Russell Wilson, or they're going to trade. Here's what I think happens here, too, in that. I think Washington or Chicago trades down to 2. They draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, jeez.
They have DJ Moore in Harrison. They're going to give Fields a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams, who Cliff Kingsbury worked with out in USC, is now the new OC in Washington. And that's how I think that's going to progress there. So they're going to either go with Caleb. I'll tell you what, I hear the Steelers are very interested in Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson's either going to be a Steeler or a Commander, but the Commanders now with that money, they can absorb that contract.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Terry McLaurin, you got Dotson. I mean, improve that O-line a little. You got a ton of money, man. They're not far away on defense.
Yeah. You still are on the Russell Wilson train, right?
Well, I don't think he had a horrible year last year.
I think he is someone that is I think he's looking forward to I think he's milking the rest of his NFL career right now.
So you think he's going to become Mr. Sierra soon?
Pretty much. Well, he's got a good business acumen about him. He understands that he can milk this for a little bit, and he can, and he's still talented. You're absolutely right, still talented. But I think that he's already looking to other business ventures. It's not just football anymore for him. And you know what? To a degree, good for him. It shouldn't be. But if you're going to be in the NFL, it should be all about football.
I think they're cutting him after June 1. Okay?
Yeah.
I think they're cutting. Okay, well, let's do this. Send A.J. Brown's ass up to Denver for Patrick Surtain.
Okay. I'll do that. What? Yeah.
They drafted him.
Yeah. I would do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Involve him in the trade? Sure.
Yeah. Wait, and he's still on a rookie deal, and he's got a 5th-year option you could pick up on.
Absolutely. I don't think it's just going to take A.J. Brown. I think you're going to have to throw picks in, obviously. But, I would do that.
Okay, last 2 questions here. Coordinators. Let's start. So here's my pushback a bit on Kellen Moore.
Oh, boy.
How did Kellen Moore do his last year in Dallas? Did Dak lead the NFL in picks?
It was not great. Yes.
Okay. How did Herbert do in Los Angeles this past season with Moore as the OC?
In the beginning, it looked good, and then not good. It was bad, very bad.
He gets a mulligan because of that Stunad Brandon Staley as his head coach. Name me a RPO coach. So
I'm having flashbacks every time you say Stunad of me like at 13, and my dad just being like, "What do you be? Don't be such a Stunad." Anyway, yeah.
I'm gonna be in the. This is where I'm going with Kellen Moore. So we're gonna hopefully think that Jalen Hurts is going to be the next Dak Prescott.
No, he wins in the playoffs. That's kind of what I'd want.
Touche.
That's what I'll take. That's what I'll take. Yeah.
But what RPO quarterback has he ever worked with?
No, I agree. So this is where Kellen Moore is going to be tested. Sure, you want to come in here, as of right now, at least with an embarrassment of riches, offensively speaking. You want to come into this? All right, well, realize that you have a quarterback that's a little bit different than the guys you've worked with before. Realize he's a guy that does very well out of the RPO. How about you use the RPO? How about if you're not going to hand the ball to a running back and allow them to run, throw the ball to a running back. Let's get that in. I know you like to stretch the field. I know you like to throw the ball downfield. Can you give me a little situational football where I'm not going to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball downfield to A.J. Brown with overtime pending against the Commanders when you have that lead in the 4th quarter? Can you not throw that football? Can you not throw that football like you did in the second to last possession against the Seahawks? Not the interception that ended the game. The interception that was thrown to Quez Watkins down the middle of the field when you're up 4 points in the 4th quarter. Kellen Moore, can you help with situational football in that regard? Because Nick Sirianni keeps on saying he's correcting it, yet the same problem occurred time and time again throughout the season. And then on top of everything else, if you're Kellen Moore and you're coming into this, not just situational football, but just simple ball control. Simple ball control. Make Jalen Hurts get back to the status that we saw him at a year ago. That's what you're charged with doing.
Mark, if they did 22, I would say this to you.
If they did 22?
The 3 Super Bowls counting the one he's been to. If you're hoping that he's a better version of 23, you're never going, because he's not going to win you a Super Bowl exclusively from the pocket.
Yeah.
He's going to win you. Do you know what people are doing this year? You guys keep talking about old news, not you, but keep talking about 22. Well, 23 was a turnover machine year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to say, people go, well, you take the turnover. Well, you know what? There's always an ending to a book.
Yeah, right.
You read the full book. You don't read half a book.
Uh-huh.
It's the full story of the movie here. He had a massive turnover year. He became predictable because you know what his quarterback rating was in the middle of the field? 8. You became predictable. You couldn't use your tight end, and you're going to take the RPO still out of it? Mark, I don't see a turnaround unless they go back to that weapon that made him look like Steve Young. When Steve Young was on the field, he put fear in your ass because he ran 4.5s. He broke defenses' backs on 3rd and 11. You took the element away from all of that when you took that part of his game away. And I think that's got a lot to do with the contract too, that they're trying to get a 15-year career. If you gave me 9 or 10 years and 3 Super Bowl appearances and maybe you land on one, I'll take that over that other stuff, because at the end of the day, you're taking half that kid's game away. You're not going to go anywhere with it.
I'll put it to you like this. The greatest lie that the Eagles have told us in the last year was that we're going to embrace the uniqueness of Jalen Hurts' game. Malarkey. Did you see that this year, Sills?
Great tech.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I heard Nick Sirianni say it, and I went, yeah, do that. Because that, to me, sounds like a logical way to run the offense. You're not going to overrun him. You're not going to not run him. You're not going to limit his agility. You're not going to say stay in the pocket no matter what. Embrace the uniqueness. I thought it was a perfect, Nick Sirianni, beautiful way to say that. Lies, my friend. And it was the biggest lie they told us last year. Of all the lies, that was the biggest one.
No, between Trump and Biden, Trump, Biden, and Sirianni, I don't know who tells more lies. I get lost in the whole thing here. Let's go over to the other side here.
Yeah.
I had Dave Wanstead on with me, and Dave worked with Vic up in Chicago and was around him a lot. And he said, if that thing fails, it's not going to be because of the scheme. However, how far away do you think that defense is to being respectable?
Is Jordan Davis in great shape? Is Jalen Carter?
Are they going to practice hard this year?
Yeah, right.
Take exhibition football serious? Are they going to not break OTAs and training camp and mini camp and actually put some work in?
Yeah.
If that's the case, yes. If not, and they're going to continue doing the country club atmosphere they have there at NovaCare, and you get a chair and a umbrella, and you get like nice little girly drinks. If that's the case, and he's out of shape and he's eating White Castles, no. Okay, so remember, he's one of the guys that's this way. Tracy Rocker told me this before he went to Tennessee. If you don't practice hard, he's not a guy that's going to go run 5 extra sprints. He's going to get his pants on and go home. Okay? He's not motivated that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Clint Hurt is a friend of mine. Went to University of Miami.
Ooh.
Okay? And he's a no-shit guy. And
really?
Kick someone in the ass. Okay? Hey, I talked to Clint a couple nights ago. He wore my jersey at my number for me. He told me that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then he goes like this. He goes, man, I think some of these guys, I think these guys think they're on a tread bike and that's it. Well, we're going to run around here a little bit. We're running the drills. She goes, remember them pursuit drills? I go, yes, I remember those pursuit drills. Yeah, they were we practiced pursuit for 35 minutes before we even practiced with Jimmy, whether it was in Dallas or in my University of Miami. We practiced pursuit drills. And what we did was Wanstead and Butch Davis would throw the ball. All of us had to run to it. We did it for 35 minutes. Then practice started. Okay? And that went on like he goes, well, we're going back to that.
I look at Clint Hurt's picture And and it's funny because I had the same kind of
very
vibe.
good.
Oh yeah. When I see like Jeff Stoutland, I see like a general. I'm going to listen to this guy. Like this guy, he's going to speak, and when he speaks to be heard and listened to. When I look at Clint Hurtt, I have that same type of thing. Like, yes, sir, no, sir. That's how I would address him. And I love the fact that he's got all this experience. He obviously has worked under Fangio before when they were both with the Bears. Yep. Fangio was the coordinator. He was there, I think, under Fangio for 2 years in Chicago. Yep. He was there in total for 3, but 2 years under Fangio. And then obviously defensive coordinator
in Seattle.
Yeah, in Seattle as well. And then I know this was an issue that you actually brought to my attention, not just the lack of experience last year with coordinators, the lack of experience in the position coaches under the coordinators. So, like, Clint Hurtt obviously has all this experience for, under Fangio and defensive line coach and defensive coordinator, and he's got all that experience. Then on the other side of the ball, Greg Weissmuller, I think, Weissmuller has been a quarterback's coach. He's worked under Kellen Moore, both with the Cowboys and with the Chargers. So those are guys. He's the quarterback's coach of the Eagles now. He's got that experience. So they're bringing that under these experienced coordinators. So that at least makes me feel a little bit better about the way the defense is going to operate and the offense as well. But the defense, you have a lot more work to do personnel-wise defensively than you do with the Eagles. So I think anybody putting it out there that they think the Eagles defense is going to be great, I can say with confidence that I have confidence in Vic Fangio. I can say with confidence I have confidence in this Eagles coaching staff on the defensive side of the football. And yeah, sure, the offense. But do I have confidence that this defense is going to be good next year? That's a whole other take in itself. I don't know who's going to be here, and the people that are already here. Is Nakobe Dean going to stay healthy? Is Avonte Max even going to be here, or are they going to let him go? Is Keely Ringo going to take a step forward? James Bradbury? Like, look at all the question marks you just have on the defensive side of the football. You need safeties. You need corners. You need defensive linemen for more defensive line depth. You need another linebacker. You need 2 linebackers. Like, I like Nakobe Dean, but I would like him more to stay healthy. There's a lot. There's a lot that the Eagles have on the defensive side of the football, aside just coaching, where they need to fill those gaps. And that, to me, is going to be, hey, Howie season, full effect. When Howie season gets into full effect, that's how we can start to really wrap our minds around how good or bad this defense is going to be.
Last question. Let me go to the librarian now, Howie Roseman. I don't think he's very good at college personnel on defense. I just don't. Corners, linebackers, edge rushers, he's just not done the job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a part of me when I say something like, hey, let's trade AJ, get some picks, and I'm like, so you want to hand picks to him again? Do you think this team should be retooled with veterans or draft picks? Because, Mark, look at the Georgia guys. What Georgia guy has contributed? Jalen Carter? Okay. Well, the rest of them have been, what's Nolan Smith? I still don't even know what he is.
He's a kid with a bum shoulder.
Oh, you mean the other Georgia? Oh, wait, I'm confused. Which bum shoulder Georgia guy? Because they've got 2.
No, Dean's got the lower body injury now.
Oh.
But yeah, he started out with the shoulder. Yeah.
Oh, no. So that was a Tortorella report, like a hockey report, a lower extremity injury.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. Now you got me now. I got it.
It might have been after the preseason. I think it was the preseason. Nolan Smith is standing in his locker, and he's talking about how you got to be hungry enough to eat off the floor and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I love that attitude. Yeah, you go, you go. And then he's just like, somebody said to him, hey, how's your shoulder? And he's like, well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. I don't know when it's going to be good. I don't know when it's going to be bad. I'm like, dude, are you like 40 and playing football? Dude, you're a rookie. What do you mean sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad? That put him on blast for me for the rest of the season. And I'm like, I'm not going to expect a lot from this guy. And he didn't give us a lot, but now the Eagles want to shake up things with Hassan Reddick, with Nolan Smith. Okay, Sparky. Not seeing it. But yeah, I agree. On everything Howie Roseman and anything that's not a defensive tackle, yeah, you don't have a lot of confidence in.
Well, Mark, I got to end this with this. I'm sorry about you mean guys like Farcetta and Angelo. And Farcetta's so mean. He's a meanie. Missinelli.
Ugh.
All the guys at IP and 97.5 and JAKIB. Everybody's a meanie.
Yeah.
Your guys are just awful. What an awful reputation you guys have. I'm the white knight here. Okay. You are the meanies. Even though the IP guys are taking shots at me today, it's all good. I mean, hey, I'm just collateral damage, all you meanies like that. Look at the bad reputation you give all the AJ, dude, you really have to laugh. I mean, does this remind you now of T.O.?
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. People wanted A.J. Brown to be like when the Eagles acquired A.J. Brown, when he started playing, everyone was like, oh, it's like T.O. It's like T.O. I'm like, hey, look, I was too young for Carmichael. I was not around for Tommy McDonald. Okay.
Not I either, believe it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mike Quick. I was way too young. The greatest wide receiver I've ever seen play for the Eagles is Terrell Owens. They're not even close. Not even close. You could 1 year, fine. He led the Eagles, believe it or not, 2 years in receiving. People don't realize that. I think second year, he only put like, what, 7 games?
No, you know what they told me? Some guys at the Pro Bowl, that he was like the first guy to ever get a Pro Bowl nod as a special teams and wide receiver guy.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Only guy, well, I don't know if he's still, but he was the first guy to ever have that distinction getting a nod being a Pro Bowler as a special teams guy and a wide receiver. And McNabb was talking shit on him in Hawaii.
Oh, God. But people wanted
5.
Oh, jeez. Everyone wanted A.J. Brown to be T.O. from jump in the good way first. And I'm like, hey, everyone, let's chill the hell out for a second. It's 2 games, whatever. And then everybody wanted the T.O. on the drama side of it. And it's like, make up your minds, guys, because you really can't have both. He ain't T.O. T.O. wouldn't say in his locker, if I just open my mouth, I'm a diva. You know what T.O. did say that I always respect, though, when he made it back for that Super Bowl against the Patriots? He said, if anybody else does this, if Brett Favre comes back with a broken foot, whatever, broken leg, he comes back, oh, he's a warrior.
I know.
I do it, and it's all about him.
I thought he was a warrior in that Super Bowl.
Oh, he absolutely was. The best player on the field. Best player on the field in that Super Bowl.
He had 14 catches, some shit like that, and like
I think
140 yards.
The number that sticks out is 14 for 124.
Something, I mean.
Could be wrong.
Dude.
No touchdowns, though. What a bum.
Dude, he was so good. I can't believe they couldn't keep that thing on the rails. See, I blame the quarterback for that.
You know
why? We see the receivers now. They're all hemorrhoids. It's up to the quarterback to have to write the. I mean, look, Brady had a murderer, Gronk, Moss, kept everything on the rails. I think it's the quarterback's responsibility to keep these guys and be good teammates and keeping and that's maybe what, a little bit that Fletcher was talking about with Jalen about, hey, this is not just about you being motivated and doing the right things. This is about motivating others around you. Mm-hmm. I think that's the leadership part of it, Mark, that he's talking about. Not, hey, is he self-motivated? Yes. Does he want to work hard? Yes. All of that is self-leadership. But, dude, you got to be a teammate that motivates these guys to want to do their best and keep everything on the rails. That's where I think he failed.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's something that is – look, I really like Jalen Hurts. I root for Jalen. I think he's an easy guy to root for.
Easy.
You have to acknowledge that you got to be a better leader. And you can't – as a leader, you can't defer to other people. If you're deferring to A.J. Brown to be that leader, that ain't the right way to do it because the team is literally, as a franchise quarterback, people are looking at you to be that leader. And I'm hoping that this is a year, and I think it will be a year, where he takes that other step forward. We see him do it in 2022 with this huge step forward in terms of his play. Now, in terms of personality and not dominance, but presence in the locker room, well, I think we'll see another step forward in that regard.
Well, I'll leave you here with this. I looked to Angelo for leadership, and he said, "Kick their ass harder." I don't know if that's the right way to go. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I love the guy to death, man, but he's like, "Kick their ass harder," off the top rope. Dude, I love you, man. You were absolutely fantastic, and
love you back, bud.
You are really kicking. I love it. By the way, this is really going to sound awkward. I lay in bed watching you in the morning do your show.
Go on. No, okay.
I don't want to. Just so you know, you can check that out on JAKIB Sports. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Have
Back
a great
at you.
weekend. Bona fortuna.
Bona fortuna. See you.
That's our good friend, Mark Farzetta. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show. And we can all wipe our tears off when we come back. AJ Brown.